r/AskReddit. How did you lose your virginity? I know this will sound like something from a chick flick teen movie, but it's the truth. My BF's parents were out of town, and he had the house to himself. He planned an entire evening and picked me up from church to take me there. Yes, I'm quite aware of the irony in this. Neither of us had had sex before. When we walked in, he disappeared upstairs and told me that there was scavenger hunt all through the house. Each stop had a note with a reason why he loved me, plus a little gift. There were candles everywhere. I received a ring and set of earrings, and at the last stop was a condom and a note telling me to come to the bedroom. When I walked upstairs, he was laying in his bed with candles lit and soft music playing. We shared a nervous laugh at the stereotypical setup, but in all honesty I was blown away by the sheer romance of everything I was experiencing. We ended up making love, and it was one of the best evenings of my life. I couldn't have asked for a better way to lose my virginity, and I've never once regretted it. I did regret the choice of movie that we went and saw afterward, though 8mm with Nicolas Cage is not a movie anyone should see, ever, but especially not after having sex for the very first time. Back when I was 18, me and my girlfriend at the time, who wanted to wait till marriage etc were house sitting for one of her neighbors. One night as we were watching their TV and eating their unlimited supply of chocolate, which they seemed to think was a form of payment despite the fact most of it had all gone off, we decided to go upstairs for an early night. She decides spontaneously that she's ready, and I didn't need telling twice. Anywho, after our shenanigans, we woke the next morning to find the room we had slept in looked like we committed a hit on a mobster. Blood everywhere, every fucking where. The duvet, the sheets, the mattress, the walls, the fucking ceiling. How the fuck did it get on the ceiling? From then on, my pet name for her vagina was Diet Coke and her pet name for my penis was Mentos. At my high school, we have a freshman and a sophomore/junior/senior campus. I was a freshman at the time and was invited to a sophomore party. I thought I was hot shit cause I was drinking with the older kids. After about 2 beers I had enough liquid confidence in me to start chatting up the owner of the house, whom I hadn't ever met before. She was sitting on the couch and I must have said the best pickup lines of my life, because this great looking girl was suggesting that we head up to her room. I quickly told her that I thought that was a fantastic idea. She told me to carry her up the stairs, and I was in no position to complain. After I hurriedly carried her into the room and put her on the bed, we started fooling around. Eventually she told me to go to her dresser and get a condom from the top shelf. After a little bit of progression as far as the fooling around was going, we began to have sex. The entire time she had an extremely bored look on her face. Despite the excitement of losing my virginity, I started to get extremely frustrated. I asked what was wrong, and she rolled her eyes and sighed, but told me to continue and to let me know when I was done. After this comment, I stopped and got dressed. I left and went home. The next day I got a bunch of horrified texts, all of which I ignored. I didn't talk to anyone from the party for the rest of the year. The next year, I walked into the sophomore/junior/senior campus completely forgetting my little incident the previous year. As I walked into my first period class, I saw the girl I lost my virginity, sort of, to, in a wheelchair. It was pretty run off the mill. I was only 13 though. I remember coming home and telling my mom I lost my virginity. Big mistake. She yelled at me and told me to go to my room till my dad came home. So he comes home, hears the news, and rather than scold me we went out and got ice cream. I could tell he was proud of me. The next day, when my dad comes home from work he takes me aside and says, "Well son, did you do it again today?" "No, Dad, my asshole still hurts too much." Mine was pretty bad. It was freshman year. I was attending my first house party of my college career. By 12 AM, I was so shit blasted that I had already broken my nose from tripping in the backyard and making no attempt whatsoever to break my fall with my arms. 2 hours ago. The details are extremely hazy, but I seem to remember sharing a cigarette on the front porch with a rather portly girl discussing the band Saves the Day. The next thing I remember, I'm naked, on my knees on some rough ratty rug in her dorm room, futilely pounding away on the blob between my legs. I awoke alone on said carpet, my shirt and shoes nowhere to be found, and a pair of bloody shorts. From my nose, around my ankles, in indescribable pain from a potent mix of third-degree rug burns, a busted face, and enough alcohol to drown a cat screaming to get out of my system. I never found my t-shirt and shoes, or dignity. The worst yet sort of best part of it all was that I was, and am, gay and in the closet at the time, and it was such an ordeal, that it was the catalyst for me to finally accept that truth, and come out to my friends and family. So yeah. Blacked out, lost virginity to a strange fat girl on a rug, went so horribly, that I finally came out of the closet. When I was a waitress, I lost my virginity to a guy from where I worked in a one-night stand fueled by alcohol. He invited me over to his house one night, we drank and smoked weed, and before I knew it, he was leading me by arm to his room. We had barely any foreplay, and because of the alcohol he lasted forever. I wasn't really interested in him as anything more than a one-night stand, but I found out later that he was really into me and actually wanted to date. He once accused me of using him to lose my virginity. Whoops. Spend most of the time poking my dick between her ass and the mattress. Not being sure exactly what it was supposed to feel like. Not sure exactly what I was aiming for. I just kind of figured I was doing it right the whole time. I was a bit disappointed, but all in all I was just too caught up in the excitement of having a naked girl under me. She made no effort to correct me and guide at all, so it went on that way a couple of times, ending with me just finally getting bored and moving on to doing something else. Finally, during one of these bed and brownie poking sessions, I ended up actually managing to get my cock into the right place, and it was glorious. I knew instantly that everything I was doing up to that point was a fuck up, and I didn't even care right then. I knew exactly what all the fuss was about, and in those 8 seconds, I knew I was an addict. I was on my third date with this really awesome guy who I had really taken quite a liking to back in February 2009. We were sitting on the couch at his place, and I think he tried to make a move. Or maybe it was me. I don't know. Whatever happened prompted me to be like, we can't do that. You're not my boyfriend. To this he replies, when do I get to be? And I'm like, how about now? And then sex happened. He got me drunk afterwards. He's still my boyfriend. We're awesome. So, I had liked this girl since I was 16. We were in a high school class together when she was a sophomore and I was a junior. We kind of dated for a bit and then it ended. We weren't really in equal positions because I liked her a lot more than she liked me, and she had other romantic interests and I only liked her. She was my first kiss in high school. Eventually she moved to another city, but I still liked her a lot, so I turned down my first choice for university and went to the one that was in the town she moved in, hoping I could strike things up with her again. So, flash forward, I was a freshman in college, and I didn't know how to contact her etc. This was before Facebook etc. But oddly enough I was at a restaurant one night, and she was the waitress. So we started talking again and hanging out. She was dating some other guys, but we started hanging out as friends. It was pretty painful to spend time with her knowing that she was sleeping with other guys and only thought of me as a friend and cuddle buddy. Well, by the second semester we were dating but not exclusive. One day we were fooling around and pants came off and we were passionately grinding and I slipped in her and it was pure heaven. We started dating exclusively, I think. Well, for a while after that we still weren't exclusively dating. She was actually dating a couple of other guys at the time, which really sucked for me. But eventually we were, and then we got married. It was always kind of awkward for whatever reason to me, because I had never really dated anyone else, and I had never had sex with anyone else. 6 years later, we were living in different cities. I had postponed going to grad school so that I could work and put her through graduate school. She was almost done with her second to last semester when she texted me that she wanted a divorce. She then moved to San Francisco with a guy that she had taken virtually all of her classes with in grad school and who was always over there when I called. Sometimes he was even the one who picked up the phone, and she said they were just studying. Long story short, met a girl in high school, fell in love, saved it for her, lost it to her, married her, she cheated on me, we got divorced. My first time was very awkward and not very enjoyable. The girl refused to take off her basketball shorts or any of her clothes for that matter, I will get to this later, and made me pull them up and try from there. Took 3 tries to finally get a good position. I kept going limp from no arousal on her part and finally got going. Lasted 5-ish minutes, maybe 10. Who knows? It really downplayed what I thought my first sexual experience would be. It turned out she was married that whole time. I was 18. She was 19, and we had a long history before the sex too. She was a dumb bitch and made my life a soap opera.